Next up in our small batch series is SMaSH Huell Melon. Welcome back, everybody. So today we are going to have the second tasting of Huell Melon. If you didn't watch the first video on this, the first tasting, I would suggest going back and watching that. This came in at 4.12%. This was bottled on at 6.2, so it's 2 months old. And I think, again, I keep saying this just because of the new people, but we started out with 2.75 pounds of grain in these SMaSH beers. And over time, we kind of started seeing that was probably a little too much grain. We were getting a little too much sweetness. The hops weren't coming through that well. So we started scaling it back. And this is one of the first ones that we scaled back. So this is using 2 pounds of Rahr Pilsner malt. Not the 2.75. And also what was happening, at least with mine, was the ABV was going very high, or real high. Now that could have been a combination of a lower mash temp, as it was 150, so we are going to draw off more sugar, more fermentable sugar, but it's also going to give us a lighter body. Now if you take that 2.75 pounds of grain and mash it in, you're going to pull out more grain, but as we saw, you're still going to have a thicker beer. And I think it took us some time to realize that the ABV was going so high because we were drawing off that sugar from a lower mash temp, but we were using enough grain to keep that body light. And so we were getting up 6, 7, 8% ABV beers when they were supposed to be around 5. So this is one of the first ones that we did knock back to 2 pounds of grain, and with the same mash in temp, we're only getting a 4.12. I think the Falconer's Flight was 4.33, so that was a little higher. So just to go over the recipe real quick, 2 pounds of Rahr Pilsner malt, hop additions, hour boil, 0.39 ounces at 30 minutes, 0.29 ounces at 5 minutes, then dry hop 3 days into fermentation with 0.32 ounces. This cap was not sealed. We're also seeing some other stuff. If we can reuse the caps that come on these bottles, and we had a good hiss. So let's go ahead and get it in here, see what we think. I wish I would have saved some of the Falconer's Flight just to compare just the colors into it, but I drank it all. So we do have a white head. It is kind of translucent off-white. It's almost like that yellow, almost honey water is coming up through the bubbles. Not even a quarter finger of head on there. If we take a look at the color, this one's clearer. This one is clearer than the Falconer's Flight that also used 2 pounds of Pilsner malt. Yellow in color, I would almost say this is more of a honey water than the Falconer's Flight. I think with all those floaties, it might have brightened it up just a little bit. Medium bubble level, nothing like the Falconer's Flight at all. Let's go ahead and get a smell, see what we think. Almost like a candied fruit, a light candied fruit. I am getting a little melon, like honeydew melon in there, but it's more like sweet, like a candied sweet fruit. Very low though. Nothing really big. You really have to get your nose down in there to get any of that smell. Huell Melon, mine was 5.9% alpha acid, so it is low. So if you're making this, which we're going to get into here soon, you might want to adjust the amount that you put in based on the alpha acid, obviously. If you're making a full recipe or if you're looking at one, they usually give you the alpha acid percentage because that's what they want you to hit. So, like, take for example, I've got Centennial that's in there, and usually my fresh Centennial is around 10% alpha acid. Well, I got a 2018 batch of it, and it was only 6%. So technically, if you want to make a beer and get the same bitterness IBU units close to what you're seeing in a magazine or online recipe, you're going to have to scale up your the amount that you put in the beer to try and match those alpha acids. So this is low, so I can see it being a very subtle smell for the amount of hops that went in here versus the grain. Let's go ahead and try it. Very, very smooth. It does have more of a melon flavor, like a mixture of melons. First thing comes to mind is honeydew. It almost has the taste of the gesture hops with the Viking malt. It kind of has that honey. Viking 2-row calls, it says it's kind of honey, got a touch of honey. And that's almost what it is, but it's more of that melon combination with honeydew, a little sweeter, but very, very smooth. Easy drinking, 4% beer it should be, but it is a lot smoother than that Falconer's Flight. Yeah, aftertaste, you do get a little bit of bitterness, but it's more of a sweeter melon taste than anything. Yeah, there's nothing else to say. I mean, that you do get a little sweetness, but it's like turns into just like a generic mixture of melons in there, a little bit of honey. Excuse me. Aftertaste, I do get a tiny bit of bitterness on the back, but then like a melon salad. If you just took a whole bunch of them, put them together, let it sit and mellow for an hour or two, then tried it, that's what you're getting. It almost tastes like it has oats in it. But that honey, like I said, is reminding me of the Viking 2-row that we used and that sweet honey taste that we got from that. But yeah, solid beer. I have had people say that they want to see this hop used with Golden Promise. So that is one that we will be doing soon. And I think I want to get another bag or 1 ounce bag or maybe a little bit more and use it in Golden Promise just to see what we get out of it. But yeah, solid beer, definitely a good SMaSH beer. If you're new to home brewing and you want to make something light that's not going to wreck your palate, Huell Melon might be the one to go just because of the lower alpha acids, and get some Pilsner malt. That'll be light, and see what you can do with it. So if you like this video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you know when new videos are coming out. And until next time, happy brewing.